Hey everybody, I'm Alice Ford. I've been traveling the world solo for the better part of the last 10 years, and I've been to some absolutely incredible destinations. So in this video, I'm sharing 10 of my favorite places for adventure travel. If you've watched this channel long, you know I love getting out and exploring places that are a little bit less ordinary, places that have amazing hiking and backpacking and experiences to get up close with wildlife and really interesting cultures. So I'll be sharing all of that and more in this video. We might be in a very snowy destination right now, but this video is going to take us all around the world. First on the list is the country of Ecuador, offering an incredible diversity of landscapes and experiences. It's located right on the equator, and it's a land where you have the Amazon rainforest, the towering Andes Mountains, and the mystical Galapagos Islands all coexist within a relatively small area. The sheer variety of terrain makes it a dream for nature and adventure lovers alike. I stayed here for a month back in 2019 and immersed myself in the country's unique ecosystems and rich cultures. I had so many unforgettable experiences here, like staying with the Achuar, an indigenous tribe deep in the Amazon rainforest. The Achuar live in remote and a pristine area where the jungle hums with life. And it was humbling to learn from them about their way of life, their connection to the land, and their practices that have kept this part of the world so vibrant and untouched for so long. I spent time on the Amazon tributaries, looking for river dolphins, and deep in the jungles as well. In the Andes, I ventured into the high-altitude wilderness, hiking up several towering peaks, including a summit of Cotopaxi volcano, which stands as one of the highest active volcanoes in the world. And these hikes are tough, but definitely extremely memorable. I also attempted to summit Chimborazo, which is Ecuador's highest mountain, but was thwarted by bad weather conditions and avalanche risk. But I'll never forget my experience nonetheless. Now, Ecuador's Andes are also home to the Chagra, or Ecuadorian cowboys, whose rich cultural heritage revolves around horsemanship and cattle farming. And I had the privilege of not only staying on a traditional hacienda, but horseback riding through the breathtaking landscapes, and the views stretched for miles. The experience definitely gave me a deep appreciation for the traditions and lifestyle of the people here. And that's not all. There were so many highlights of this trip. There were countless waterfalls and amazing landscapes everywhere I looked. I also stayed at a place called Mashpi Lodge, which instead of the rainforest was in the cloud forest, and this place is a paradise for bird watchers with more than 500 species calling the area home. You can find things like toucans and hummingbirds, and the lodge itself is also a marvel, blending adventure with comfort. They have all these different adventure activities. You can do a gondola through the forest canopy. You can experience a bird's eye view of the lush vegetation on something called a sky bike, where you're basically cycling through the clouds above the jungle. And there's also guided hikes to waterfalls, as well as night excursions to look for the fascinating nocturnal creatures of the cloud forest. And that's not all. Ecuador is also home to the Galapagos Islands, one of the most richly diverse marine ecosystems in the world. While I was here, I spent a week scuba diving, snorkeling, and exploring multiple islands on board a yacht. It was an incredible experience where there were lots of sea lions, birds, and a remarkable amount of wildlife at every turn. And I'm really excited because I'm heading back to Ecuador and the Galapagos Islands for my very first ever group trip happening in February 25. So if you want to come along, I'll have details down in the description. We're heading farther south to Chilean Patagonia. 400,000 square miles that spans the southernmost parts of both Chile and Argentina. While the entirety of Patagonia stretches across both countries, Chilean Patagonia itself is a remote wilderness that feels like another world entirely, raw, rugged, and beautifully untamed. This region makes up about 10% of the entire Patagonia region, but packs an incredible punch in terms of natural beauty, with jagged peaks, expansive glaciers, pristine lakes, dense forests, and unique wildlife. During my time in Chilean Patagonia, I had the privilege of exploring several of the region's most renowned national parks, while learning about some of the most critical conservation efforts aimed at preserving this fragile ecosystem. Now, Chilean Patagonia is home to 17 national parks, with a few more in the works, many of which are designated as conservation areas to protect the unique flora and fauna that thrive there, including species like the endangered Huemul deer and the iconic Andean puma. As I hiked and explored, I was constantly amazed by the landscapes. I began my adventure here in the Lakes District, which is a breathtaking region known for crystal clear lakes surrounded by snow-dusted volcanoes. and the colors here are just unreal. From there, I made my way south to the Isen region, where I road tripped along the famed Carretera Austral, which is a remote highway that winds through some of the most isolated and stunning landscapes in the world. I spent a few days in Cerro Castillo National Park, where I hiked to one of the most spectacular glacier lakes I've ever encountered, where the vivid blue water of the lake, framed by the rugged mountain peaks, was a sight I will never forget. And in this region, I also had the opportunity to explore along the riverbanks with a local ranger in search of the endangered Huemul deer. It's a rare species that is closely tied to the conservation efforts in the area. Seeing these elusive creatures in their natural habitat protected was a humbling experience that reinforced the importance of conservation. Now, just a few hours south of the Isen region, I explored Patagonia National Park, which is a vast expanse of protected wilderness, home to an array of wildlife, including pumas, guanacos, and condors. I stayed at a place called Explora Patagonia. It's the only hotel in the park, and I was fully immersed in the surroundings here. And that wasn't all on my Patagonian adventures. I also spent a week hiking in Torres del Paine National Park, which is at the bottom of Patagonia, where I did the famed W Trek, one of the most exhilarating and scenic hikes I've ever done. To say the scenery here was epic would be an understatement. My first few nights I stayed at a remote lodge on the edge of a glacier, where I woke up to the sight of ice blue waters and towering peaks. And then I set out on foot, crossing swinging bridges over raging rivers, wandering along the shores of the park's stunning turquoise lakes, and hiking high into the mountains to reach the base of the towering granite spires known as the Torres del Paine. This is definitely a place I recommend if you're looking for off-the-beaten-path adventures with few other travelers. Norway. This is a country I recommend often for those seeking unmatched hiking and outdoor adventure. It's located in Northern Europe, and Norway is a country of extreme natural beauty and contrast. They have majestic fjords, rugged mountains, and Arctic tundras that all come together in one breathtaking landscape. It's known for its rich Viking history and outdoor lifestyle. But Norway is a paradise for adventure lovers, and I've had the chance to visit Norway in both winter and summer. Each season has an awe-inspiring side. On my first winter trip, I began in Oslo, where the vibrant art scene and delicious farm-to-table cuisine offered the perfect welcome. One highlight was the local sauna and cold plunge located right in the harbor of Oslo. It was definitely a refreshing way to embrace the Norwegian winter. I headed north to Finnmark after that, stayed in an ice hotel, sleeping in a room carved entirely from ice, and I experienced the thrill of dog sledding across vast snowy plains, which were both truly unforgettable Arctic adventures. I also got to witness the Northern Lights for the first time, which was one of those magical moments that felt like life-changing at the time. And I also went out into the tundra with a Sami reindeer herder, a cold but unforgettable experience, immersing myself in a culture very different than my own. In the summer, I returned to explore the Arctic Circle and the midnight sun in Tromsø. Here, the endless daylight opened up every hour for adventure. Now, Norway's fjords are world-renowned, and I never stopped thinking about another trip here to see more of them. And then the adventures continued at the North Cape, Europe's northern edge, with its wild, dramatic cliffs overlooking the Arctic Ocean, a place that truly feels like the edge of the world. I even went out with crab fishermen here and checked out the farthest north lighthouse in all of Europe. Utah. Southern Utah is one of the most incredible destinations in the U.S. I might be a little biased because I've been there many times. This state offers a spectacular mix of rugged beauty, outdoor adventure, and breathtaking geologic formation. So if you love road trips and exploring wide open spaces like me, this region should definitely be on your bucket list. I've traveled through here, as I said, many times, but each visit brings a fresh discovery. Sometimes I find a new hidden canyon or a new hiking trail, and there's always more epic viewpoints to find as well. One of the best places to start your southern Utah adventure is Moab, often referred to as the adventure capital of the U.S. Moab is the gateway to two iconic national parks, Arches and Canyonlands, and it's the perfect base for all kinds of outdoor activities. Whether you're into hiking, off-roading, rock climbing, or mountain biking, Moab definitely has it all. And I always make sure to spend a few days exploring Arches National Park, famous for its stunning natural stone arches that dot the landscapes. It's like stepping into a different world, with unique formations and otherworldly vistas. And just a short drive from Arches, you have Canyonlands National Park, which is one of the least visited parks in the country. It's a true gem, and it's often overshadowed by Arches next door. Canyonlands is not only a dark sky reserve, but it's full of rugged canyons and mesas, making it a playground for off-road enthusiasts. There are some serious 4x4 roads here where you can test your skills while navigating the rough terrain. And for hikers, Canyonlands offers some of the most otherworldly and challenging trails in the area, winding through deep canyons, up rocky ridges, and along cliff edges with breathtaking panoramic views. And beyond the national park, southern Utah is full of hidden treasures. You have Goblin Valley State Park, for example, which is absolutely unique. The park is known for its goblins, which are oddly shaped rock formations that look like little creatures scattered along the desert floor. It's also a fantastic place for canyoneering, with narrow passages and slot canyons to discover. And there's also fantastic camping here. And I haven't even mentioned some of the other incredible national parks in the area, like Zion National Park, which is a hiker's dream, with famous trails like Angel's Landing, where you'll be rewarded with some of the most stunning views in the entire Southwest. We also have the Narrows Hike, which is another bucket list trail where you wade through the Virgin River, surrounded by towering canyon walls that rise hundreds of feet above you. This is definitely a park that will leave you awestruck. And then you have Bryce Canyon, another place that's famous for a unique geologic feature. These ones are called hoodoos, tall, spire-like rock formations that create a surreal, almost fairy tale landscape. So no matter how many times you visit this place, its magic will always surprise you. And guess what? If you want to see more of Utah or any of the places on this list, I actually have full videos on each of the ones I'll be mentioning today, which you can link to in the description of this video. Alaska. It's the largest and most northernmost state in the U.S. It's a land of rugged beauty where vast wilderness areas, towering mountains, and deep coastal fjords create some of the most awe-inspiring landscapes on Earth. It's known for its pristine nature and remarkable wildlife. And Alaska is a destination that just calls to explorers and adventure seekers looking to experience one of the last truly wild places. One of my most unforgettable experiences here was taking a small ship cruise through Alaska's Inside Passage. The coastal route, with its network of islands, fjords, and dense forests, offered close encounters with the state's unique wildlife. Whales breached the ocean surface, bald eagles soared overhead, and bears roamed the shoreline. The Inside Passage is also home to Glacier Bay National Park, accessible only by small ship, where we sailed close to active glaciers surrounded by floating icebergs and breathtaking scenery. In Skagway, I explored Alaska's mountainous terrain aboard a scenic train, which led me to a remote glacier where I hiked and stayed overnight in a quiet forest cabin. The silence and sheer scale of Alaska's wilderness in places like this are humbling, as if stepping back in time to a world unmarked by civilization. Now, Alaska has 8 national parks, and most of those are not easy to get to, which makes exploring this state difficult. But visiting Denali National Park, which is home to North America's tallest peak, is doable, especially if you're traveling in the summer months when you can take the train straight from Anchorage and right into this park. Hiking here provided sweeping views of tundra, glaciated peaks, and a look into the deep forest, while spotting moose and caribou in their natural habitat. Denali's vast and varied landscape makes it a paradise for anyone seeking a deep immersion in nature. Another area of this state I recommend is Juneau, where I hiked to Mount Roberts for panoramic views of the surrounding fjords. Then I visited Admiralty Island, known for its high population of brown bears, and I got to watch them fishing for salmon. It was a thrilling reminder of Alaska's wild and untamed nature. The Italian Dolomites. This may not be a country, it's a region. It's located on the border of Italy and Austria, and it's one of the most stunning mountain ranges in Europe, and arguably the world. It's known for dramatic, jagged peaks and otherworldly beauty. The Dolomites are not only a paradise for climbers and hikers, but also where rock climbing itself was born. These mountains are a mecca for outdoor enthusiasts, with a network of trails, huts, and lifts that make it easy to experience some of the most breathtaking alpine scenery on Earth. So whether you're a walker, a hiker, or a climber, this is a place everyone can experience. Now, the unique thing about the Dolomites compared to many other mountain ranges is how accessible they are. Unlike rugged peaks that require days of strenuous climbing to just get to the base, the Dolomites are equipped with well-marked hiking trails, alpine huts, and ski lifts that connect many sections of the mountain. This makes it possible for anyone, whether you're a mountaineer or someone who just wants to take in the views, to experience the majesty of this region. But if you're someone that's looking for more of a challenge, there are plenty of rugged hiking trails that wind through the Dolomites. One of the best ways to truly experience these mountains is to do a hut-to-hut hiking adventure, where you can spend a few days traversing the mountains and staying in the cozy, family-friendly huts that dot the landscape. These alpine huts offer a warm meal, a bed to rest in, and often a chance to chat with fellow adventurers from around the world. And for those really looking for an adrenaline rush, you can do some of the Dolomites via ferratas. I tried a few of these on my trip here a few years back, and I will say they are exhilarating, to say the least. And the beauty of the Dolomites is that once you've spent a few days hiking, you can easily descend to one of the charming mountain towns that dot the region. These quaint towns offer the perfect mix of old-world alpine charm and modern luxury. And I think you'll want it after a couple days of hiking and climbing. It's certainly a welcome treat to relax in a cozy hotel, enjoy some incredible Italian cuisine, and unwind with a glass of wine while gazing at the peaks you've just conquered. Uganda. I just got back from this African country, and wow, it was incredible. Uganda is known as the Pearl of Africa. It's a country that captivates with its wild landscapes, rare wildlife, and rich cultures. It's home to 1/5 of the world's primates, and in Bwindi Impenetrable National Park, I trekked through dense rainforest to come face to face with mountain gorillas. There are only about 1,000 mountain gorillas left on Earth, and almost half live in this area of Uganda. But this country is a lot more than just gorillas. I also had the chance to trek with chimpanzees. These primates are fierce and way more active than gorillas, so being in the wild with them can be a bit louder and more chaotic. But I highly recommend doing both of these trekking experiences if you can. Now, there are 10 national parks in Uganda, and as someone that has safaried in other African countries, I felt like the wildlife here was so much more prevalent. I saw so many elephants and antelopes on our game drives, more so than I have in any other countries. And one of the most awe-inspiring moments of my trip was spending an entire day on the Nile River at Murchison Falls National Park. There were countless bird species, elephants on the shoreline, buffalo, and tons of baboons. Now, this is a river you wouldn't want to swim in because it's teeming with hippos and crocodiles. And after seeing animal after animal, I also witnessed the Nile funnel through a narrow gorge at Murchison Falls, creating one of the world's most powerful waterfalls. But Uganda isn't just about grand natural wonders, it's also about intimate and unique experiences. Like at Lake Mburo National Park, where you can explore the rolling savannas on horseback, coming right up to giraffes and alongside zebras, where you're surrounded by the serene landscapes that feel like a hidden gem. And then there's the quieter scenes in the Mabamba Swamp, where you can spot the rare shoebill stork among hundreds of other bird species, which makes for an unexpected but magical highlight. Beyond wildlife, Uganda's culture is equally captivating. You can visit the Batwa Pygmies, one of Uganda's oldest indigenous tribes, which offers a unique look into the ancient way of life. Their resilience and deep connection to the land offers a glimpse into history that's rarely seen in today's world. Uganda's diversity even extends to moments of tranquility and beauty. Imagine swimming in the clear waters of a volcanic crater lake at Chaninga Lodge, surrounded by green hills. This is a peaceful retreat after days of exploring. And at the Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary, dedicated conservation efforts allow you to see Uganda's once extinct rhinos up close, showcasing the country's commitment to preserving its natural treasures. Portugal. This is a land that blends natural beauty, culture, and thrilling adventure. And while the mainland is fantastic with ancient cities and vineyard-covered hills, it's the wild beauty of the islands, the Azores and Madeira, that truly captivated the outdoor adventurer in me. Now, these islands are scattered across the Atlantic, and they're where the dramatic landscapes and diverse ecosystems offer some of the most unique hiking experiences in Europe, in my opinion. The Azores are a remote archipelago of volcanic islands between Boston and Europe. They feel like a place untouched by time. Each island has its own unique charm, but they all share a rugged volcanic beauty. Here, hiking along the edges of ancient calderas is met by sweeping views that shift between vivid greens and misty, fog-filled horizons. It's a surreal experience as you navigate trails past flower-filled meadows and grazing cows, with the scent of the ocean always in the air. The islands are also known for their natural hot springs, where you can relax in geothermally heated waters, a perfect way to unwind after a day of exploring the volcanic terrain. Madeira, in contrast, is closer to Africa than Europe, blending in a warm, subtropical climate and an almost otherworldly landscape. The island is a paradise for hikers, where lush laurel forests, dramatic cliffs, and high mountain peaks invite exploration. Trails wind along the edge of coastlines with views over the deep blue Atlantic below, while other paths take you through dense emerald green forests that feel enchanted. In both the Azores and Madeira, there is an undeniable connection between land and sea. Offshore, you'll find whales, dolphins, and an incredible amount of sea life. Combined with the spectacular landscapes on shore, this makes the islands a haven for both land and sea adventures. And that's not all, because on the mainland of Portugal, you also have your own treasures like the city of Porto, where ancient architecture and a vibrant culture blend seamlessly. You can take the train from Porto into the Douro Valley, like stepping into another world, where terraced vineyards rise among the riverbanks and wine tasting introduces you to Portugal's famous ports. Antarctica. Antarctica defies all expectations. This vast, pristine continent, largely untouched by human presence, is Earth's ultimate nature reserve, a place of scientific discovery and a reminder of the planet's fragility. While it may feel remote and otherworldly, the beauty of its icy expanse is magnetic, drawing adventurers willing to cross rough seas to experience its marvels firsthand. My journey to Antarctica began in Ushuaia, Argentina, the southernmost town in the world and the gateway to Antarctic expeditions. I boarded the Ocean Albatross, an expedition ship with around 120 fellow travelers. We set out on a 10-day voyage into the great unknown. Ushuaia is nestled between Tierra del Fuego National Park and the Beagle Channel. It's steeped in its own wild beauty, but nothing could have prepared me for what lay ahead across the turbulent Drake Passage. After days at sea, we reached the Antarctic Peninsula, a narrow arm of land reaching towards South America. The peninsula is one of the few places visitors can set foot on the continent itself, and it's also home to a stunning diversity of wildlife. Here, icebergs drift by like frozen giants, some as large as city blocks, and others small yet intricate, each a glacial relic sculpted over centuries. The icebergs take on surreal hues of blue, the intensity deepening with age as they float through the cold waters, often trapped by the Antarctic circumpolar current which encircles the continent. We spent 3 full days exploring the peninsula, where the landscape shifts dramatically between jagged mountains, glaciers, and snowfields, and the silence is interrupted only by the sound of calving ice. Stepping onto the continent was a profound moment. Ice and snow stretched in every direction, broken by colonies of penguins that made themselves at home along the shoreline. Watching these birds navigate their frozen world, I realized the true scale of adaptation and survival that defines Antarctic life. Our journey also took us to the South Shetland Islands, a less explored but equally compelling archipelago just north of the peninsula. The islands host remnants of whaling stations, and here we also encountered elephant seals lounging along the shoreline, as well as many bustling penguin colonies. Though Antarctica isn't a place for adrenaline-pumping activities, the sheer experience of just being here, snowshoeing, kayaking amidst icebergs, or simply taking in the landscape is an adventure in itself. The continent's untouched beauty and the proximity to its incredible wildlife will remind us of the importance of preserving this fragile environment. For those considering an ultimate adventure of traveling to this continent, check out my longer video in Antarctica and prepare to be amazed. Japan. This is a land where ancient traditions meet spectacular natural landscapes, offering adventure seekers an incredible variety of experiences across its island. Now, when most people think of Japan, they think of Tokyo or Kyoto, these super tech-heavy cities where you're really just shopping and eating. But Japan's terrain is incredibly diverse. You have volcanic peaks, dense forests, and rugged coastlines too. So if you want to see the wilder side, I definitely recommend a journey here. Now, I spent 8 days traveling solo through some of Japan's less traveled regions earlier this year. I hiked volcanoes, I soaked in hot springs, and I checked out some of the rich green landscapes, walking to temples, and getting a more in-depth cultural tour of many of the regions. I also enjoyed some waterfall chasing while in Kyushu, where I wandered along the Takachiho Gorge, one of Japan's most beautiful waterfalls, and found myself alone at another towering cascade while outside the hot spring town of Beppo.
That was awesome. Well worth the dirty feet and mud on my shirt.
If you're looking for Japan away from the crowds, this is certainly it. I also spent a few nights at the base of Mount Fuji, learning about green tea culture and taking in the views of Japan's tallest volcano. While everyone can take forest walks to shrines and temples, backpackers can also spend weeks hiking in the Japanese Alps. There are more mountains in Japan than the state of California, so I don't think you'll run out of trails. And there's also rafting and canyoneering and a camping culture to match the amount of outdoor offerings. So if Japan isn't on your list of places for adventure, maybe you'll be adding it now. As you can see, the world is full of incredible destinations, so whether you're just an adventure seeker or a solo traveler like me, there are ample places to explore. I have yet to visit every country in the world, so there is so much more to see. So if you love hiking, backpacking, or adventuring as much as me, please hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned to this channel where I'll share tips, trips, and inspiration for your next adventure. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.